Hey there, it's Turtles, or as I'm now going by, Ian. And today is July 24th, 2012, which means that I am exactly 2 months, I know, believe it or not, exactly 2 months post-op from my top surgery. So I thought I'd do another update. So to give you an idea, here, that's my chest at this point. The healing, I mean, I'm so grateful. It's continuing to go really great. I think one of the main developments for this last month has actually been, and this is hard to tell maybe on the video screen, so you might have to take my word for it, but I feel like the skin around my incisions on either side has gotten a considerable amount smoother. Like before, there was a fair amount of like puckering or a little yeah, like almost like you could see the stitch marks to some extent, and all of that is a lot less apparent now. It's like a whole lot smoother, which is really nice. The incisions themselves look good. I think a general pattern that I'm seeing emerge is let's see if I can do sides now. My left side, the incision is a little bit less wide, like it tends to be thinner. In fact, like there's a portion here where it's almost completely invisible, like it's so thin. The right side is like, it's a little bit wider. Again, it's not like a huge difference, but when you look up close, you can kind of tell, and I'm sure that's just a reflection of the fact that I'm right-handed, and so I've been using like the right side of my body more. I think the color of the incisions has changed a little bit too. I've noticed it's gone to a little bit more of like a dull purple kind of color, which actually blends into my skin tone somewhat better. Before it was a little bit more sort of a bright pink, and I still see some variation. You know, I think particularly in the morning, I think it tends to be more of a dull purple, and then it'll become more pink as I go through the day or something like that. And obviously it varies day to day. I can't always even predict like what it's going to be like one day to another. But I think in general it's becoming a lot less bright and stuff, which is surprising to me because I heard that scars can sometimes go through a pattern of they'll actually spend quite a while being a pretty bright pink or red color. And that's just a sign of healing kind of before they start to fade. So in any case, I think it's looking like a really healthy color. The nipples look great too. You know, they're a pretty good coloration. I'm really happy with the sizing. This one actually seems to be a little bit less markedly stretched vertically than it was before. You know, I'm not sure, maybe the other one just got stretched out a bit more, so it's kind of evened out. But in any case, I'm really happy with them. This one does protrude a little bit further than this one, but there is some amount of raising on this one too, so it's not like, again, I don't think it's the sort of thing you'd notice. Yeah, I mean, I've been going back to the gym. I actually had a really good experience talking to the people at the gym at my school because I really wanted to go back. Dr. Brownstein said I could after a month, and so I was like, as soon as I can, please let me get back here because like everything was atrophying. So they were so fantastic. Not only did they point me to where I could find a locker outside of the men's and women's locker rooms, but they also gave me access to this gender-neutral restroom that I can now like use to change into my gym clothes before. I still have to go home afterwards to shower, but that's still a million times better than like having to make a trip to the gym, especially for that, and then not having anywhere to store my stuff, you know? Like I was imagining some bad scenarios. Oh, and a note on the men's locker room. It's not that I am opposed to using it or that I really feel all that uncomfortable using it, like especially since I'm fortunate enough to have had top surgery, but I'm not out to everyone at school, so like different people at school know me as different things, and so given that it's a school gym, I don't feel comfortable with that. That would be like a really awkward scenario in which to have to explain my gender identity to, like, can you imagine? So for now, I'm quite happy with this arrangement. You know, as time goes on and I come out more, that may not be an issue anymore. But anyway, so I've been going back to the gym, and I want to say that, like, I've had a little bit of pectoral development. I don't even know how to flex the pecs. In reality, like here and like here. But in reality, that's probably just swelling. I don't know. It's hard to say. you know how I said that I was sort of hoping that some further pec development might like obscure the incisions a little bit more because, you know, it tends to be placed under? Well, I think the incisions are actually placed a little bit further under the pectoral muscle than might for that to really help with, although, you know, I don't know, maybe I just haven't worked out enough with the upper body. I mean, I'm also not on T yet, so it's possible that if I were to start T, you know, it would even, like, the pectoral muscle would even expand to the point where that would not be the case. But for now, I actually kind of like it. I feel like, I mean, again, you probably can't see this in the video, but I feel like almost having the incision there gives my chest a little bit more definition somehow. You know, having it placed a little bit under, I don't know. I probably just think about this too much. But yeah, long story short, healing's going really well. What I've been using for the healing, well, I was previously using the silicone strips, as I mentioned in my last video, but those became so annoying. They just, like, they refused to stick. I had to apply lots of extra tape, and, like I said, I was using the binder too to hold them on. That just became incredibly annoying and really hot, and I decided to forego that. What I've started using instead is a Mederma Plus sunscreen. Like, it's Mederma cream, but it also has an SPF built in, which I think is really nice because, I mean, everyone tells you to be really careful about sun protection with the scars, to the point where it's a good idea to use sunscreen even under shirts that you're wearing if you're going to be out in the sun for a while, like especially in the summer. So I felt really good about that. I was like, you know what, the least I can do is provide some extra protection so it doesn't get damaged further. So I'm using that. It says to, you know, rub it in 2 or 3 times, like 3 times a day. So I'm using that 2 or 3 times a day. That's also nice because it gives me an opportunity to, like, massage the scars a little bit, which I think is helping, especially in the middle here where they were a little bit raised before. So that's good. And so I've been using that during the day, and at night I'm actually, you won't believe this, but I'm actually using this silicone lube, like personal lubricant, because, as a matter of fact, it has the exact same properties, the exact same active ingredients as all the silicone scar treatments. And, I mean, if you've tried looking into silicone scar treatments, they're ridiculously overpriced. This is, like, a bargain in comparison. And I heard about it, like, that could be a possible solution on a, you know, a scar treatment site written by another trans guy. So I figured that's probably a good suggestion. I mean, I can ask Dr. Bernstein about it at my follow-up appointment, but I'm using that for now, and it seems to be helping somewhat, so I'm gonna stick with it, I guess. So, yep, feeling really good about the healing. I have a lot of range of motion. Going back to the gym was not a huge challenge as far as, like, my mobility or ability to lift weights. It actually came back surprisingly quickly. It was just really nice. I mean, I'm not quite at the point where I was before surgery, but after about a month, like, I'm nearly there. So that's really awesome, and that, like, all happened way faster than I thought. At first, I did have to be kind of careful, especially when doing things like, you know, a lateral pull down or whatever, because that could strain if I tried to reach out, you know, straight up. But overall, that was not as challenging as I had anticipated. However, I did take part in a yoga class last Thursday, which would have been exactly 8 weeks after, and let me tell you, that put some strain. That put some strain on the incisions and on my arms. So it's perhaps the fact that I just haven't been doing a whole lot of, like, body bearing exercises where I actually have to, like, support my whole weight. So just a thought, like, I'm just personally very glad that I didn't do any yoga before at that point. That was probably about the earliest that I would have liked to start. So anyway, yeah, in short, all is going well. Really happy with how things are going, and I hope that you are all doing well too. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.